how do I best support and feed my body and my soul during this time? Activity is very beneficial for our nervous system, for our brains. It decreases inflammation, it increases oxidation, which literally breaks down some of the particles and molecules that need to be cleared, the debris in our body that just needs to be eliminated. Exercise will do that. The culture of your gut, the bacteria within your gut produce neurotransmitters that affect your mood. So if we're consuming food that affects negatively our gut and our GI, then it's very likely we're going to have a harder time actually handling any sort of stressor that we confront during the holiday season.
There's this weird juxtaposition between the holidays as this bright, cheery, amazing time, and like deep down in our core,
yeah,
they're very stressful. Like, I have a lot of anxiety about, am I going to do it right for my kids? Am I going to be able to afford and then purchase and wrap all these presents? What am I going to cook? You got to make sure you're getting the right presents for your family, and then the holiday get-togethers, and there's like, I don't know, for some people, they're not working enough because work drops in the winter. For other people, they feel like they're working so much they have no time for any of that stuff. And then there's like so many other reasons why people get stressed. Dr. Ron Dummar, I'm rambling on. I must be
that was a good
edge.
intro. I was going to let you go. I'm listening, and you're doing well.
Holiday stress. You're Dr. Ron Dummar. I'm Nick, a patient and friend here, the podcast years strong. But we gotta meet people where they're at in the holidays. And they come to you and they're stressed out. And like, what advice do you give patients who, because to even bring that up probably is a little bit vulnerable for people, because it's like, well, whatever, like everyone's dealing with this. Why am I going to like complain about holiday stress?
Come on, man. Doctor. Right.
But what advice do you have for people to like get through these holiday days, this holiday season?
Well, it's really interesting because one of the ways that we've been taught, I think, to cope, at least in some part of our society, is with food and with alcohol. Those are, we usually use those as tools to cope. And
even caffeine.
Yep, caffeine.
Push through the long days.
Yep, just keep going, grinding, right? So what I'm going to say is that is right, but we're using it the wrong way. Okay? So yes, we can use food, we can use sustenance to cope, but we need to make sure how we're using it. If we use quality food, if we're looking for increasing our vegetable content, if we're looking to say, okay, how do I best support and feed my body and my soul during this time? What usually happens during Christmas is we consume a whole bunch of processed sugars. We consume a whole bunch of dyes, additives, flavorings, right? All sorts of strange and unusual foods, usually processed sugar based, and that takes a toll on our gut and our GI. And we literally know that the culture of your gut, the bacteria within your gut, produce neurotransmitters that affect your mood. So if we're consuming food that affects negatively our gut and our GI, then it's very likely we're going to have a harder time actually handling any sort of stressor that we confront during the holiday season. Okay, so it's kind of a 1-2 punch. Like, yes, it tends to be a more stressful time, but I would argue that it generally is a more stressful time because people are not treating their bodies or feeding their bodies as well as they should.
Well, there's tons to do.
Yeah, there is a lot to do.
So when
we always do a lot. Like our whole nation, our whole nation is based on this whole idea that we constantly work, we constantly do things. We're always productive. We're always producing. And I think that, that's been pushed a little bit to the extreme. And yes, we need to take time for rest. We need to take time for meditation. We need to take time for even mindfulness. Right?
What's the difference between meditation and mindfulness?
So that's a really good question. So
I think it was a pretty good question.
Yeah, it was a great question. Meditation is really actually a practice. It's like a focused practice. Sometimes it's a guided, like you'll have something or someone guiding you through a vision or a like imagery where you're traveling a certain place. Sometimes you're moving through your body and you're clearing out, like actually visualizing specific negativity or dark type of energy and eliminating or replacing that with light. So it's a very specific focused practice, okay? Sometimes with meditation as well, you'll actually focus on your breath. You'll just listen to your breath. And that's a very common practice, right? However, mindfulness is different in that really what it is, it's more about not judging. Mindfulness is more about looking around, observing what's around you, and choosing to be okay with it, or choosing to not judge it and determine, okay, I don't have to insert my, person into this situation. I don't have to insert myself into this situation. So mindfulness is literally more about allowing yourself to not determine or judge specifically whether you think that what you're observing needs to be different. You're just kind of letting it be. So sometimes we describe this in people that we see as control. We'll say, why are you always trying to control everybody? Why are you trying to control this? Why are you trying to control that? And certain people they feel really out of sorts if something gets out of their control or something that they thought they had planned, all of a sudden it falls through, right? So what you can do is you can set up things the best you feel like you can, and then just observe what happens to it, right? Or let's say you're in a meeting or you're at a holiday party, and you're just observing instead of like, oh gosh, what do I do? Oh, I'm not really talking to enough people. Oh, I should probably be nicer. Or, oh man, how do I engage or interact? Or, oh man, nobody's come over to talk to me. Maybe nobody likes me. There's so many different things for us to begin to judge the situation. And if we're mindful in that situation, we just take a few deep breaths. We settle into ourselves. We recognize the value of who we are and that everything's okay. And then we just look around and we just observe, and we allow them to do what they're doing, and we allow us to be where we are. And if we feel like, you know what, I want to move over and talk to that person, then you go do it, right? You do it without judgment. You do it without, well, if I don't go talk to that person, they're going to think that I don't. No, just if you want to go talk to them, go talk to them. If you don't want to talk to them, stay where you are. No judgment at all. Just allowing yourself to be calm and to breathe and restful where you are. So that's the difference between mindfulness and meditation. And I do think that those two practices are actually super beneficial. Obviously, meditation isn't likely to be done in the midst of a holiday party, but you can absolutely practice meditation or mindfulness in the middle of that type of a party. So we talked about diet briefly, incorporating
I think
things.
meditation too is like, having gone away from it for a while and really trying to get back into it lately, is like, it is a physical practice.
Yeah.
So it's like, when is your best physical time? And for me, even though I'm a little grumpy, it's like probably the morning is when so I try to meditate in the morning, and I've done 2 days in a row after 3 months off. So I get it. You should be doing it. You don't do it. You're stressed. Your phone has your whole brain hijacked. It's not easy out there, folks, but I'm trying to get back into it and reminding myself that, like, even though I'm supposed to meditate without any, what's the right way to think about it? Without some goal in mind. Yeah. I still do believe my life is better when I have a sitting practice.
Absolutely.
For whatever that's worth.
Yeah. Meditation is a significant beneficial practice. It has been shown to reduce blood pressure, to reduce anxiety, to improve mood. This is researched, and we know this now, right? So it's not like we're sitting here humming and hawing. We're like, oh, you should do this, but the reality is,
it's not woo-woo.
If you do
it can be woo-woo. It can be very spiritual and all the things.
Yes,
but it also has these proven.
It can feel that way.
Like, if you need the numbers and the scientific benefit, it has those proven benefits.
100%. Yeah, it's there, and so. And it's been studied in a variety of different ways. There's also something else that you can do just generally is activity. So during the holidays, especially if you do have or can squeeze out a little more time in the morning, like you said, or maybe in the evening. I have some patients who love to be active or do certain activities in the evening. Sometimes getting together with family and being active, whether it's basketball or soccer or some sort of activity. But the activity is very beneficial, again, for our nervous system, for our brains. It decreases inflammation. It increases oxidation, which literally breaks down some of the particles and molecules that need to be cleared, the debris in our body that just needs to be eliminated. Exercise will do that. So it's so good for mental health. Ideally, if you can get outside for an activity, to breathe the fresh air, to observe nature around you, that can be so enriching and so mentally beneficial for you also. So
what about this idea that we're all going through this holiday thing and we maybe don't give ourselves, I don't know, enough credit for everyone's going through it. Yeah. But we kind of pretend it's not a thing,
such a great
but it is a
idea.
thing, and it's maybe it's a tough, holidays can be tough, you know? You've lost people or families are rough. It's like a big mirror. It makes you reflect on your life, and maybe that's not a really positive thing for you right now. There's just a lot going on.
I think that's a really good, sometimes just acknowledging the fact that we all have stress, and for whatever reason, like maybe someone's at your party and their stress is the fact that they're they're in the middle of a great big negotiation, right? And they're waiting on this negotiation, and this week or this holiday, these few days they have to take off, it's like stressful to them. Just, is this going to go through? Are things going to change? And they've got this 48 hours, right? And so it could be work stress. Someone else might be there, and it could be relationship stress, right? It could be that, are things working out at home? Is my relationship in order? Also it could be somebody who's single or a widow, and it's like, what are their stresses? We all have stresses, right? We all have stressors that affect us and impact our health. And if we look around for a moment, and this is a really good awareness practice, I think, as well, is mindfulness, just kind of looking around the room for a moment, not judging, but just being like, every single one of these people have stress. They have something going on in their life that kind of negatively impacts them or is a challenge for them and makes things a little bit more difficult. And then think for a second, like, what could I do, or do I need to? Maybe you don't need to. You don't need to at all if you don't want to, but is it possible that this gathering could be something that relieves that stress for as many of these people as possible? That would be my aim. That would be my hope, is that these gatherings, what we come together to celebrate, what we're remembering, what we're sharing together, would hopefully decrease our stress and help remind each other, everyone in that room, that we got your back. Like, this is your tribe of support. We're here for you. And if you need us, whether it's emotionally, physically, financially, right, we got you. We're going to help make things work out, right? Things are going to work out just fine. And I think that way, by focusing in that way, we can decrease a significant amount of our holiday stress. So I do think that it's a really great practice to just even look around the room and imagine, I wonder, I'm going through stress. I know that, but rather than getting all wrapped up in my own stress, maybe acknowledging that, man, everybody else is going through the same thing.
And if that doesn't work, what about Anxio-Relora Plus? What is this?
Anxio-Relora, yes.
This is a Chinese herbal formula from your office, Community Health and Wellness.
This is a formula I put together actually somewhat recently, within the last 8 months. So you asked, well, how come you haven't had me using this? And that may be one of the reasons, but it is one of the newer formulas that I've put together. But it has just four herbs in it that are very powerful, very potent, and help in a significant way with mental health and mood. They do it from a variety of different ways. The first one is called Hopo. It's magnolia bark. Magnolia bark actually helps with the GI. It's like gut-brain balance. So it helps with the production of neurotransmitters, but it helps literally connect the gut and the brain, so that is more of a smooth communication between there. It's very, very effective. I actually use magnolia bark in a lot of my other formulas to help with GI dysfunction, to help with SIBO, to help with also bloating and constipation. So we help it it helps the GI in a significant way. Okay, so the next one that we have is called Huang Bai. Huang Bai is philodendron, and philodendron actually is a beneficial bacteria promoter. So it promotes the production of beneficial bacteria within the gut and the GI. It's almost like some people might equate it to an antibiotic, but it's not antibiotic. It's probiotic in that it promotes the production of beneficial bacteria. And those bacteria that it promotes are actually neurotransmitter producers, like producers of GABA, producers of serotonin, producers of acetylcholine. So these neurotransmitters that are basically the grease on the wheels of the nervous system that help the nervous system to function appropriately, okay, they're promoted and supported by Huang Bai. The next one we have is ashwagandha. I think I would be surprised if people hadn't heard of ashwagandha when they're listening to this. So ashwagandha is a adaptogenic herb. And what we mean by adaptogenic herb means it has a significant amount of compounds in it that are very health promoting, and they can do a variety of different things. So when it gets into your body, it will actually see, or your body will determine what it needs from the ashwagandha. But we say from the ashwagandha standpoint that it does what is needed by the body. Right? It adapts. It adapts to what the needs are. So it's adaptogenic. Okay. But one thing that I've noticed that it does really well for our patients who struggle with mood or anxiety or stressors is that it helps with improving their mood, regulating their mood, right? And decreasing their anxiety. And one of the ways that it does that is by having an impact on cortisol. One of the things that your body does when it's in a state of stress is it secretes cortisol. So it's pushing cortisol out, which tends to keep you awake in a state of alertness and keeps you focused. But it's also, you can have so much cortisol produced, and it can get to a state where it's very dysfunctional, to where when you try to go to bed at night, you have difficulty sleeping. And then that adds more anxiety. And then you're like, wake up the next day. Well, I didn't have good sleep. I had a hard time falling asleep. I woke up 3 times. Like all these different things, right? They all lead to extra stress. Ashwagandha can help with regulating that cortisol so that you have proper cortisol raising and lowering at the appropriate times. And so ashwagandha is very effective in that regard. The last one's Chen Pi. It's actually orange peel. And I like orange peel a lot. It's a digestive. It helps with breaking product down, food product. And it also is I use it in the formula more to like pull the formula together. So it's harmonizing to the formula at large, and it helps the body to more readily receive the nutrients from the other herbs.
It's fascinating, the whole Chinese medicine of like balance, and it's not that there is no whatever virus or there is no whatever we call as bad. I don't understand all this stuff, but it's like, it's just kind of balancing and harmonizing the body. The more you talk about it, the more I'm like fascinated by how it all works.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's super fascinating. And that's, a lot of people are familiar with the yin yang sign, right? And it's like, there's always a little bit of yin and yang, and there's always a little bit of yang and yin. And that's what those 2 little dots in the yin yang sign mean, is that there's always a little bit of light and dark. There's always a little bit of dark and light. And you're looking for the balance of that and to keep it congruent so it's constantly flowing and ebbing, but not overly consuming. Right? And not overly producing either. So it's got to be properly matched. I guess you could say it in an economical way, like, what is it? Supply meets demand. That's really what we're looking for in the yin yang symbol. And so with our herbals, we look at it the same way. And all of us, you mentioned viruses and bacteria. We all have virus. We all have bacteria in our bodies all the time. We all have some level of parasites as well, to some degree. It's a matter of whether that parasite, that bacteria, or that virus has risen to or been overproduced to a stage where it's causing a problem or dysfunction within the body, within the physiology. And that's when we start to pick it up on labs. That's when we start to pick it up symptomatically. Like, oh man, I have the craziest brain fog, and man, I've been tired for weeks, or man, I feel sore and achy all the time. It's hard for me to get myself out of bed. And so all of those things can be signs that our bacteria, our viral, our parasitic balance is off. And maybe we need to rebalance. And it literally is that simple. We're not trying to destroy. We're not trying to eliminate. We're really trying to create balance, a state of balance and harmony, where essentially we can be placed in the highest state of vibrant, optimal health possible.
So capping off this podcast, any other final tips you can use? How to be less stressed in the holidays?
Well, one of my favorite tips that we haven't shared yet is tapping.
Oh, tapping.
You wouldn't really be using tapping, in the middle of a party or anything like that, but you could step away maybe or go to the bathroom and do some tapping and some breath work. But tapping activates acupuncture points along the scalp and the face and the chest and the axillary or armpit region. So we activate those acupuncture points to stimulate the brain, to stimulate neurology, to activate neurotransmitters, to improve mood and decrease anxiety.
How can I tap?
All right, you want some demo? Why not? Let's demo.
Let's do it.
Okay, so the way to tap is a very basic, simple way you can tap almost anywhere. Is you're going to just breathe in and out to your nose, and you're going to reach up to the top of your head, and you literally play the top of your head like it's a piano, right? So you're just tapping along the top of your head, and then you begin to move straight down your forehead to between your eyes, and you're tapping right between your eyes. Then choose one of your eyebrows to tap over and around, all the way around that orbital bone, which means around your eye, and then come right back around that eyebrow again and right to the center above your nose. Then just below your nose, above your lips, tapping. And then below both lips. And then on either side of the breastbone, you're going to tap down and then back up. You'll go right down to the xiphoid bone, that pointy bone at the bottom of your sternum or rib cage there, and back up. And then you're going to reach across you did this eye, so you're going to do the opposite axillary region. Tap right there, all the way up and down those ribs. And then I like to brush it away.
Can I do that wrong?
Not really.
Okay. So don't overthink it.
Yes, don't overthink it. Just try it. Breathe while you're doing it. Tap it away. You'll feel it makes a significant, noticeable difference.
If I'm having eye twitches and I tap, it may not go away forever, but at least temporarily, the eye twitches go away. And I know you say that's a liver issue, but
related to liver.
But whatever it does something.
It reduces your stress, improves your neurotransmitters. Yeah,
it does some things.
It does it. Yeah.
What a great way to end the podcast. If folks want to actually get acupuncture, because you offer it here at the Community Health and Wellness Clinic in Heber.
Such a great thing to do for stress.
How can they get some of that goodness if they're in the
what
Heber
you need
Valley?
To call is you give us a call here at our phone number 435-657-3696, or you can reach out to us via our website chwheber.com.
Have a Merry Christmas and a happy holiday season.
Merry Christmas and a stress-free holiday season.
Namaste.
Namaste.